Welcome. You're watching Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life, with your host, Danny Pabone and Rifle Scudder.
Welcome to Rugby with Rifle, a podcast about all things rugby and life. As always, I'm joined here with my friend Rifle. Rifle, how are you doing, sir? It's been some time since we've spoken about the Six Nations. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Danny. Excited for the rugby that's about to start happening, international rugby in a while. There's a
Yes.
lot of leagues going on right now, but that international rugby is really at the end of the day what it's about. So looking forward to that, but I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing well as well. I'm also looking forward to all the rugby that's coming up over the next, starting in June. Uh, we're gonna have a bunch of rugby tests. I believe the Springboks are gonna be playing England, if I'm not mistaken. Is there
That
a
game is
first?
July 4th. So
Oh,
when
July.
we
That's
celebrate
yes,
Independence Day, that's a big
yes.
game, July 4th.
That's a huge
Springboks
game.
are playing against the Barbarians next month, so that's kind of a
Oh, yeah,
warm-up.
okay, yes.
Yeah. But I believe at Ellis Park, England, South Africa, July 4th.
Uh, on America's birthday, which
Yeah,
is pretty cool.
250 years of independence. So it's going to be a big day all round.
Yes, a great day of rugby.
Fireworks.
And one of the games that's going to happen, well, technically it's still going to be summer, and let's get right is the game that's going to take place on September 12th between the Springboks and the All Blacks. And this is going to be a huge game because number one team in the world, the Springboks, against the number two team in the world currently, the All Blacks. And another special reason this is going to be a special game is we both are going to be in attendance watching this game in Baltimore live. So that I'm looking forward to that trip and seeing two great rugby nations battling it out. And the other thing is also seeing the Haka in person as well. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure it's going to be a great day, a great game, and hopefully a cherry on top, the Springboks come out with a victory.
It would be amazing, yeah. I think they're playing 4 games, so this is what they call it's a long tour for New Zealand. So
Okay.
3 games will be held in South Africa, obviously, and then the final game in America. So yeah, we will be there, and I've got obviously our tickets. I've got our, as people in America say, tailgate ticket. So we're going to
Oh, okay.
braai before the game, do a lot of South African things that we do. So it's going to be an absolute banger of a weekend. It's going to be wonderful.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. Having a great time with fellow South Africans. If you're new to the podcast, our friend Rifle is from South Africa, born and raised in South Africa. He's adopted me. I'm a what's the word I'm looking? Honorary South
Honorary.
African. So yes, so I've been to one bride that he did at his house. So I'm also looking forward to that. It's a great time. Um, Catch that episode of my trip, weekend trip to Rifle's house. That was a great, fun weekend, and I experienced a homemade pie, uh, thanks to Rifle and his family. So yeah, that was a fun weekend. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And as we see here, the rankings for both men's and women's. As we mentioned before, right, for as of today, we have South Africa and New Zealand, the top two spots. And it's pretty cool to see on the women's side, the USA Women's Eagles. They're currently ranked seventh in the world. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see the women's side being ranked in the top 10. It's pretty cool to see. Um, is this? I know when we took our trip to Washington D.C. Last summer, right for we witnessed the women's team play Fiji, and then the men's team play England. Doing this, I believe this is the only game that's going to take place that day, correct?
You mean on the 12th of
On the
September?
12th, yes.
I believe so, yeah. I think
Okay,
that's the only game
okay.
that I
Which is
know
good,
about.
great, because it's going to be a great
Yeah.
experience nonetheless. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And the reason Rifle, well, me and Rifle are talking about this game is just doing a little research, Rifle, and we've spoken about this before. Now, according to AI, I used Gemini. This is not a plug for Google's Gemini AI. I also use Chat GPT. Makes research a lot easier, AI nowadays. There's some good things and some bad things about it, but it does make researching stuff a lot easier. So one thing I found interesting, Rifle, and again, let's just look at this here. So roughly $1 trillion is spent on sports related activities in the US. Let me say that again. 1 trillion with a T, not a B, a T. $1 trillion is spent on sports related activities here in the US. And to put that into perspective, two things that I calculated is if sports related spending in the US, if it was a country, it will have the 22nd biggest GDP in the world, which is mind boggling. And the second thing, just doing a little math, the current population of the United States is roughly 350 million people. So, taking $1 trillion in sports related spending, if you divide that into 350 million people, which is again roughly the population currently of the United States, each person will have to spend close to $2,800 a year in order, and again, that's every person in the United States, man, woman, children, everybody will have to spend over $2,700, $2,700 in a year in order to make up that $1 trillion.
Wow.
Let that sink into everybody.
Mm, that is huge.
So it's very mind boggling. And again, rugby being obviously it's not a sport that's huge in America, but I know a lot of people are working behind the scenes to bring rugby. Oh, I mean, rugby. Well, let me rephrase that. Rugby is already in the United States because we have a league, professional league actually, called Major League Rugby. However, when it comes to revenue, when it comes to, I guess, attendance, it pales in comparison to the major leagues that are here in the US. And I have right here the top five professional leagues that we could see here. We have the National Football League, which is by far the number one professional league in the United States. At $20 billion of revenue, we have Major League Baseball at $12 billion, the National Basketball Association (NBA) at $11 billion, the National Hockey League (NHL) at $6.5 billion, and Major League Soccer (MLS) at $2 billion. So these are the top five major professional sports leagues in the U.S. And I believe the Major League Rugby, and this was probably last year that I checked. I don't know the current numbers. I believe the revenue was at, I don't know, about 20 million, if I'm not mistaken. Please forgive me if I'm not accurate in that. If somebody goes and research and I'm not accurate, but I believe it's around 20 million. So that's essentially a rounding error for the NFL, 20 million. So yeah, I know there's and rifle there's a league that's in development stage right now that we've spoken about many times, the National Rugby Football League. They're still in the development stages. They're trying to continue to raise capital and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, World Rugby, which is the national, well, the governing body of rugby internationally, they're trying to bet big on the United States, being that it's the biggest sports what's the word, sports market in the world. So yeah, I'm rooting for them, and hopefully they could pull it off, and over the next few years, rugby become a big part of the sports culture in the United States.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And obviously, one of the reasons they're doing that is because I don't know, we've spoken about it as well on the program, is just the World Cups that are
Hmm.
coming to America, men's and women. So 2031, the men's rugby World Cup is going to be held in the United States of America. So if rugby can grow and more people can know about it, and it would be a wonderful opportunity to not just bring awareness of the game,
Hmm.
but if more money can flow into rugby itself, then the sport can grow. And with all that would come new opportunities. So it's kind of like a snowball effect. The more people know about the game, the more people will come to love the game, the more people will attend the game, watch the game, buy the jerseys, buy the tickets, and the game will grow. But when the game grows, you can bring in other players. I was just looking here, Danny, Major League Soccer is 2 billion. And I know that in the Galaxy, LA Galaxy, they had David Beckham to come and play for them. They've got Messi playing in
Hmm.
America.
In
So I
Miami,
mean,
yep.
these are two of the richest, wealthiest, soccer stars in the universe.
Hmm.
And yet the Major League Soccer is only at 2 billion and the football is 20 billion. With two stars like Messi and Beckham playing in that league, and they only get 2 billion compared to the 20 billion in the NFL. So hopefully rugby can, because we got teams that are playing, I think we got 6 or 8 playing in the MLS, sorry, the rugby league. And more players are coming to play here from other countries. But really, what we're hoping is that definitely the push that is behind the game for the 2031 will not just draw better players, but will draw a lot of Americans to become interested in the game. And then obviously coaches from other countries who play rugby as a game. And it's not, number 6 or 7 behind other sports teams in their country that will come. That will be amazing for rugby itself. So hopefully this can work.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, that I believe that $2 billion for the Major League Soccer. Again, please, everybody, don't quote me on this. I believe that's a 2024 figure, if I'm not mistaken, because I couldn't find any um, current like 2025 number. So it may be a little. I mean, it's not gonna be triple
Like
that
you
amount,
say, a
but it may be a
rounding
little bit
error.
more ever since
Mm.
Messi came into the league because it's gotten a lot popular ever since he came in. So it may, who knows, maybe 2.5 billion, 3 billion ever since he came into the league. But still, it's still a far cry from the NFL or even the Major League Baseball or basketball league as well. Um, so it yeah, I agree with you. And you had mentioned this to me, Rifle, and I chuckled a little bit. Um, It was big news a few months ago. I forget exactly when this occurred, but Antoine Dupont, arguably, many probably consider him the best player in the world currently, plays for the French national team, actually invested in one of the Major League Rugby teams uh, in, I believe it was in the team in LA. And I remember you had mentioned to me that DuPont had visited a practice for the Rams, if I'm not mistaken. And you were just joking that, the best rugby player in the world is was doing some workouts with the Rams, and who knows, probably the majority of the Rams were probably like, who the heck is this guy? Why is he with us, practicing
Yeah,
with us?
they had to on camera. They had to say, hey, this is. Do you know this guy's? No, no, man, no, you have no idea. Like this is scrum off of scrum halls, man. This is Anton Dupont. This is like, who, what is he? He plays rugby. Oh, rugby. That. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Pass the ball to him, and he passed back, and so yeah, they had no idea who he was, or they didn't realize who was standing in their presence, if I can put it that way. I
Yeah,
mean, you go to a rugby playing country and you just put Anton Dupont anywhere, people will know who he is. So that was very, very telling about the popularity of rugby in America.
yeah, yeah, and it's just funny, you know. I could imagine the players, the Rams players, like, what was this? A Make a Wish? Was this a Make a Wish?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
but to be fair to the Rams,
I don't know
for,
if it was the Rams. I'm not sure
I
if it
know it
was the
was
Rams.
a an NFL team.
It was definitely NFL team. I can't remember
It
which
was in
one, but
California. It may be the 49ers. I
yeah,
forget who it was.
but it
But
was
I
a
know it
big
was an
team. Yeah,
NFL team in California. May not be
yeah,
the
big
Rams.
team.
So my apologies to the Rams if it wasn't the Rams.
Yeah,
But to be fair to that team, I've been a huge sports fan for, specifically I mean, I watch all sports, but specifically the NFL for 3 decades now. I'm aging myself right there. And if I was, let's say, at a park and the best cricket player in the world walks by me and starts playing, basketball with me, I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Like, I don't know who this guy is, and he's the best cricket player. So I wouldn't know. So to be fair to those football players, I understand. It's the sports that you don't watch, so you're not gonna know if the best athlete to play that sport is could be standing right next to you. So
yeah,
to be
100%.
fair, I forgive them.
Yeah, for sure. That's true.
So yeah, so hopefully, with the Rugby World Cup coming in 2031 for the men's and the women's in 2033, 2 years later, you know, that's going to be a huge, over the next few years, that's going to be a huge attraction for the sport to be marketed to fans and people all over the United States. And another interesting thing I read about is a marketing agency, which is huge in Hollywood. They're major, a big player in marketing in Hollywood. A company name by the name of IMG has partnered with World Rugby to market rugby and the World Cup over the next few years to the sports industry and the sports market in the United States. So that's also huge, being that a huge, a marketing titan such as IMG is coming into play. And if you don't know, IMG had, their agency that represents Hollywood stars. Their clientele include Martin Scorsese, the famous director. You have Larry David, creator of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. You have Mark Wahlberg, a huge Hollywood actor, and many other Hollywood actors and directors that they represented. So to have them on board is huge, and you know, IMG must see something big in rugby for them to partner with them and market for them. So yeah, that's another huge thing that's happened.
It's exciting. I think, and you've said it so many times, if more people get to understand the game of rugby and watch it, they will fall in love with the game. And not just because of it's a dangerous game in the sense of you've got no pads and you're hitting it, not hitting, but you're tackling other people as hard as you can. But for the respect, um, the law-abiding citizens of the game. When I say that, when the ref other games, when the ref says, that's a penalty or you did this, you don't see people running towards the ref, shouting in his face, guys getting angry. There's so many things that are sought after in the game of rugby concerning discipline, concerning honor, concerning respect that you find very little of in many of the other sports that we watch. So I think if people get to, as I say, know the game, they will get to love the game.
Yeah.
It's just I'm obviously very biased coming from South Africa, growing up with the game. It's the first thing you know as a young boy growing up in South Africa. It's just rugby. Same in England, same, used to be Australia, but same in New Zealand. It's just something that is in you and you just love it for what it is and what it does to you. And most team sports are just amazing. You learn so much playing
Mm-hmm.
for a team where it's not just me, I. You got to work with other people. But in rugby, as we've said before, which is different than for example, football, which is making all this money, you don't have one team that defends, one team that attacks, one team that comes on for special teams. Rugby, you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You are the defense, you are the attack, you are the special team. You got to do everything. And it's those 15 guys on the field at that very moment that you got to give everything for the guy next to you. You can't say, and I'll give my everything for 5 minutes now because I know I'm going to rest, and then the other guys are going to. No, you got 80 minutes of giving everything for the guy next to you. And there's just so many, as I say, wonderful things that the game of rugby teaches us. So it's a wonderful day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And please bear with me, Rifle, for the next couple of minutes while I'll do my plug for rugby. Coming from a American football background, um, again, anybody listening to this podcast and is a fan of American football or even soccer, because or football for the rest of the world, because in my mind, rugby is truly, truly a cross between American football and soccer. Because when you look at rugby, it has, tackles. You have to tackle a player. You know, the ball looks like a football in American football. Well, American football really came out of rugby. Um, so in that aspect, it's like American football. It's like soccer in that the players that are on the field play both defense and offense. There's no switching, as you mentioned, a couple minutes ago, like in American football, where you have a certain amount of players playing defense and a certain amount of players playing offense. When you're on the soccer field or when you're on the rugby field, you're playing both offense and defense. And, so, and, uh, the, uh, any player could score, you know, well, technically, I guess in American football, any player could score because the defense could intercept the ball and score a touchdown. So I just thought about that. So technically, in any sport, any player could score. But my point is that just getting to know the game of rugby, uh, and falling in love with the game, I just realized that rugby is too. And I also follow soccer. I mean, I don't follow soccer as much as I do the NFL, American football, but I also do enjoy soccer. So once I started learning the rules and everything of the game of rugby and started watching matches, thanks to you, I realized, I said, oh my God, this is rugby is just mixing two great sports, American football and soccer together. And, no wonder I fallen in love with the game. So yeah, it's such a great game. And when people realize that it's rugby is just American football and soccer meshed together, yeah, I don't see how no people won't fall in love with the game if they give it a chance. So yeah, that's my 2 minute. That was probably more than 2 minutes, but that was my 2 minute commercial for rugby.
Good one.
So yeah, so again, we just wanted to just again touch upon uh, the sports investment and revenue in the United States, and just talk about how rugby could grow over the next few years leading up to the Rugby World Cup in 2031 for the men's and 2033 for the women's. Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very optimistic that we will see growth over the next few years for rugby because it's such a great game. And again, I got to thank you for introducing me to the game of rugby. And I'm looking forward to that on September 12th, watching the All Blacks and Springboks battle it out on the field. So yeah,
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
that's going to be great. Very excited about that. Counting the sleeps.
Yes. So with that, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Just pretty much a advertisement for the game of rugby here in the United States. Go to YouTube, type in rugby, especially, start off with Springboks versus All Blacks, and you'll get a ton of great highlights and games that have occurred over the past, 100 years plus of this rivalry. You will not regret it. So, as always, my friend Rifle, thank you for sharing your time with me, and we have to continue to cheerlead for the game of rugby.
No problem at all. Love being here. Thanks, Danny. Thanks
So
for
with
watching, everyone.
with that, everyone, until next time, take care.
Cheers, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of Rugby with Rifle. Remember to press the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet to support this podcast.